after I started to work at the bank was so hard. 7 o'clock in the morning, they want me to in the meetings, 7 in the morning, and supposed to close at the 5 o'clock. So I thought I could leave the bank at 5 o'clock. That was just my illusion. I started to study about Buddhism. But that was my illusion. And at 5 o'clock after, my work was the foreign exchange department. So in the 5 o'clock in the evening, it's the London market comes in. That time, from the Tokyo, after in the evening, the London comes in. They're like fresh in the morning, like 7:30 in the morning. Then we started talking to London, and there's some business going on, so we started to do our business, and then I realized my time is like 8 at night. Then I said, then finally I can go back home, and there's a New York market's gonna open around 10 o'clock at night. So I was taking the shower, ready to go to the bed, and there's some telephone call. Hey, what's happened to this deal? What's going on this and that? So I speak it over the phone. Then by the time I really got off the phone, it's about maybe midnight. That was my life. It's about 2 years.
Those guys don't change.
No, I don't know. Then busy time went on, and I was always thinking come back to the United States to take the MBAs, but I didn't have the time, and I got a little bit of promotions. And one day there was a headhunter came up to me after 80 years of a career in that bank. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, out of blue, there's a telephone call, and then I picked up. Then I said, hello, of course in Japanese, moshi moshi. And all of a sudden this lady talks to me, I know you. So I said, but I don't know you. And she goes on to say, do you have a lunch? Are you available today's lunchtime? So I said, yeah, if you buy me a lunch, I'll And she said, okay. So all noon at this place, at this restaurant. So I went there. And she started to explain to me, there's one institution is seeking, is wanting you. So I said, how do they know? And this world, they know all kind of information at that time. And they want me to leave Tokyo and go to New York to establish one department. So I was kind of excited, but I left at lunch. I'll give you a call in about a week. Then, I'll make a long story short. So I was thinking all by myself. Then one day, I decided to leave the bank to go to New York. And I spoke with my mother. And she's a strict Rosho Kosi Ky member at that time. Maybe all the Japanese traditional member can accept the answer. And my mom told me, you have been working for 8 years for one institution. And they offered me a lot of things. And my way of thinking was, I offered them a lot. My mom said, you have to give them back what you have received. And that was the one comment from my mom. So I thought over, then that time I changed my mind to do a little reverse, or do best things to give my whatever I have received from this institution to give them back. So I called this lady, and this time I don't think I can go. I have a lot of things to accomplish in this institution. So I gave a call to her to not reply. Then after 6 months after, this lady called me again, explaining that the institution in New York, after 6 months, they searched all over the world, and once again, I'm the only one. I'm sure, there's a lot of people, but, that's the way to headhunt. Then I thought over again, and I spoke to my mother once again, And then that time my mom said, if you really want to go, if the institution in New York really want me to go, then it's better to go. So I decided to go to New York. Yeah. Then, is the time okay? All right. Then I worked in New York, several institutions. I felt I'm like doing very good to myself. I thought this is the purpose of life. It's what you want to do, what you accomplish, what you want to do. Yeah? And it is not the illegal thing. It is the international famous institution and helping all the customer and you making a good money and you live your life in a good way. You live in Manhattan, high rise, with the dormers, you get good compensations. You got all of your life. Then I get married.
Oh.
Now you know. I get married. I got one daughter at that time. And then the things changes. Yeah. I always in my life accomplished what I wanted. And I gave all the effort to accomplish my life. Here's the trick. It's my life. After you marry, you have your family, you start to realize that it is not only for your life. That time I didn't fully realize that if I do all my roles to a family, and the family should go in the right direction. That's what I thought, but it didn't go that way. My wife has her way of life, and as you may expect, the marriage lasted about 2.5 years, and she all of a sudden one day came up to me. I no longer wants to live in this home, and she wanted to go back to Tokyo. So I said, well, I have all my life here. I have my job, I have this and this and that. I have to stay in New York. And she goes up to me, if you want to stay in New York, stay in New York. And she said she'll go back to Tokyo. So that was the next day she left with her daughter. Then I started to wonder. I did all my best. Somehow I succeeded. Somehow I got my happiness, my way of thinking of happiness, and my life goal. But all of a sudden, my way of thinking just collapsed. And I start to, as you know, like suffering. And that was the time. My mom always told me, don't think about yourself. Think others first. It's a basic teaching of Rosho Kosi Ky. And that was the word really hit me. I thought this is my life, but my life is not only my life. And started to understand the teaching of Rosho Kosi Ky, so rather say, and much deeper in that time. Then there was a Reverend Hatakeyama at that time in New York Church. I went there to talk to him, and he started to explain to me about the teaching of Rosho Kosi Ky. And that time I really felt, and this is the true way of living, and this is the tool that you can get true meaning of happiness. That's how I experienced. And from that time on, maybe one day, if I have a chance, if I could contribute to Rosho Kosi Ky, and also I like to share what I have experienced of true happiness with you. I'm not good at it about the deeper meaning of the Buddhism itself, but I think I can explain and share the joy which will bring after you practice the teaching of Rosho Kosi Ky. And many of you may have struggled against the wall of your life in each peaks, each time of the your crisis numbers. So if I could share with you, and I could give some guidance to share and to mend, to make it smoother in your life, and grasp the true happiness with you, that will be the best for me. I like to conclude that there was one search done by University of Florida about the happiness, which then I will conclude, is they surveyed about happiness. They surveyed how do you feel, are you happy or are you not happy? And in the United States, 53% of the people answered very happy. Very, yeah. And I'll make it simple. 3 categories: not happy, happy, and very happy. And very happy was about 8%, just 10%. And happy is about 53%. And unhappy is about 20%. Okay? And they surveyed this happy person, and they surveyed their parents were happy or not. So maybe the family. Yeah? And 53% of this happy people, their family, their parents' family, they believe they were happy. They answered about 80%. Which means, if you're lucky enough to born in a fat, happy parents, most of the cases, you are happy. And they are now trying to study of the gene or happy DNA. Yeah. This comes to the Buddhism, or Kosi Ky's teaching, which is, of course, cause and effect. If there's a cause, there's an effect. Yeah. And I'd like to conclude with you. I'm sure you all have a family. If you don't have children, maybe next life, there's a cause and the result. If you want your family, if your descendant, or your next life to be happy, right now is the time to make yourself happy. And happy not mean by illusionally happiness, but true happiness, which Rosho Kosi Ky can bring it to you. Yeah, and we want, including me together, want to grasp that true happiness with you. I will conclude this message that we can all grasp that if we work together among the Sangha. Thank you very much for all listening.